jungle.
RK's Guyana Free Media presents for human development and national development this message. Dearest friends and families around the world, this is your friend and your brother, Haji Roshan Khan of the RK's Guyana Free Media, bringing another in Elections Update 2020, Part 25. And this is a special letter written by no other than an exponent in English language, politics, journalism, and as a PR consultant, Kit Nascimento. He wrote this letter on the 17th of April, dispatched them, and it has been published in all the newspapers, but I'm taking the reading from the Kaieteur News of the 18th, 2020 in Georgetown, Guyana. The aim of RK's Guyana Free Media is to help those who do not have the facility to get the newspapers and those who would like to hear a voice reading the news. There are quite a number of people around the world, and in some cases I have gotten 50, 37, 30, 40, 20, 25, 27, 15, 18, 17, 5, 6, 3 to the minimum, thousands of listeners and appreciative ones. So listen, my friends. Dear editor, the world has witnessed through the international community, its observers and heads of missions in Guyana, and local observers, a criminal conspiracy to prevent the real results of our general and regional elections being declared, and the substitution of a fraudulent result carried out in the main of 3 senior officers of GCOM on behalf of the power party clinging to power. I personally witnessed the criminal conspiracy taking place at GCOM directly involving Claremont Mingo and Roxanne Myers, directed by Keith Lowenfield and aided, if not abetted, by GCOM's chairman, Justice Retired Claudette Singh, by her sudden inaction. It is obvious that this conspiracy is intended to serve only one beneficiary, the APNU AFC under the leadership of David Granger. Why obvious? In the evening of 2nd March, the election results at every district from 1 to 10, except Region 4, were completed, and statements of poll recording those results were posted outside of each polling place and in the possession of the 2 major contesting political parties and in the possession of some of the international observer groups. By early Tuesday morning, APNU and AFC and the PPP had tabulated all of the statements of poll, including District 4, and knew the results of the election. At this point in time, none of the political parties had raised any objections to the counting and posting of the results in any of the districts. All that was left to do in order to declare the winner of the election was to complete the District 4 count. However, by the time District 4 returning officer Claremont Mingo had completed roughly 6 hours of the District 4 count, at about 8:30 hours on Wednesday, 4th March, he stopped the count, eventually claiming to be sick, and was later taken away in a stretcher. The District 4 count was not to be resumed until early Wednesday afternoon, but not by Mingo as he had promised when he had stopped the count, and who had miraculously recovered and had returned to GCOM, but by GCOM clerks assigned by Lowenfield. These clerks, instead of calling the count from the statements of poll as required by the law, resorted to the use of a mysterious spreadsheet. Not surprisingly, all of the contesting party representatives strenuously objected to this process except APNU and AFC. The count, however, continued. As an accredited observer for the Private Sector Commission, I was present and witnessed this fiasco taking place, and I asked myself why. The answer was simple. The District 4 result was already known, and the losing party could not live with it and needed time to fix it. Eventually, at about 6 p.m., Lowenfield returned and sought to unlawfully justify the use of the spreadsheet as an administrative decision on the protest. Lowenfield was forced to compare the spreadsheet figures with the official statements of poll, which were exposed as fraudulent, giving votes to APNU and AFC. I witnessed this wickedness. After this has already been widely reported. Every ruse had been employed by the GCOM officials to further delay the count, including even a bomb scare to get observers out of the building. At about 2:30 p.m., Mingo made the first of his attempts to declare any legal election results without the District 4 count being completed. I was there and witnessed the uproar. So too was the entire international community. Had it not been for the injunction served in GCOM and the ruling of the Chief Justice preventing the declaration and the commitment to the court by the Justice Retired Claudette Singh to continue the count of District 4 votes, David Granger would have happily been sworn in and an illegal APNU AFC government installed. Completely unfazed by the repeated directions of the Chief Justice, Mingo once again on 13th March resumed the count using a spreadsheet which bore no relationship to the statements of poll in the position of the contesting parties and the observers. I again witnessed this determined attempt at fraud as I sat alongside the accredited observers of the Carter Center, the USA, the United Kingdom, Canada, the European Union, and the Commonwealth, together with the ambassador of the USA to Guyana, the ambassador of the European Union to Guyana, the High Commissioner of Canada to Guyana, and the High Commissioner of the United Kingdom to Guyana. Sat alongside representatives of all the contesting parties, including APNU and AFC, but only amongst all of us present, and witnessing this deliberate criminal activity to steal our elections, one party, the APNU and AFC, continually supported the fraudulent behavior taking place before our very eyes. Why? Because they were the only party which stood to benefit. I also personally witnessed that while all of this criminal and fraudulent behavior continued to unfold, the chairman of GCOM, though present in her office, neglected or refused to intervene to bring it to a halt. At the Private Sector Commission press conference following the debacle, which I had just witnessed at GCOM, I presented a detailed report of what I had seen and heard, which was broadcast to the newsroom. It has never been disputed. Further, perfidy occurred at GCOM head office compound, where I was prevented at police barriers from being present. Even though an officially accredited observer and surrounded by noisy and aggressive green-shirted APNU and AFC supporters without police intervention or protection. As has been reported, Mingo once more declared a fraudulent general and regional election result. We are all aware of David Granger's invitation to Prime Minister Mia Mottley for Caribbean intervention, the subsequent visit of a CARICOM team with the agreement of the PPP General Secretary, the royal runaround, rudeness and ultimate insult to the CARICOM visitors by Justice Singh and her GCOM officials, and the departure from Guyana. All of this was orchestrated to give time for the APNU AFC's election candidate, Ulita Moore, to file an injunction blocking GCOM from holding a recount. Since then, we all know, and the world with us, of the present attempts of APNU and AFC lawyers to prevent a recount of District 4. It is only the failure of GCOM to deliver a credible result for District 4 that has denied the country of a fair and honest election result. It is only District 4 that needs a recount. APNU and AFC now faced with an international demand for a recount, stall for further time by advocating a national recount. The Private Sector Commission was perfectly right to dub this a waste of time. Not satisfied with this, however, we now hear cries from the APNU and AFC commissioners. And APNU AFC inspired editorials and letters in the Chronicle for an audit, not merely a recount, to further extend the imposition of unelected APNU and AFC rule conveniently. Supported by a supplicant military and obedient police force. As I write this letter, both in total disgust and deep apprehension of what is yet to follow from the ugly and unveiled determination of the APNU and AFC leadership to prevent the conclusion of an election which they know that they have lost. I read of an appalling attempt by Granger and his party to invent a narrative which reads as a tissue of lies. I find it unbelievable that David Granger and Sandra Granger and the people I held in respect and regarded with some affection as friends would lend their names to the garbage that they have paid taxpayers' money, my money, to an American PR company to present in Washington, D.C. as the new narrative. All of this is a futile attempt to reverse the international condemnation they have brought down on our country and our people. Be conscious of the fact that those who refuse to accept the results of these elections perceive it as a matter of one race dominating over another, and the rest be damned. Fortunately, I am not afflicted with that disease, and I therefore ask this question of those who are. Over what kind of country do you expect to wield the power that the majority of the people do not support, and for how long, and at what cost, and for what future? I could only ask that David Granger come to his sense, that the recount quickly take place and save our country from the awful consequences of dictatorial rule. Yours sincerely, Kit Nascimento. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and families around the world, on behalf of the RK's Free Guyana Media, I am pleased to say that this is not the opinion of Roshan Khan, nor the opinion of RK's Guyana Free Media, but the opinion and the writings of Kit Nascimento, PR specialist and journalist of Guyana. I read this in the interest of Guyana, for a better Guyana, for freedom and democracy.